Hello and welcome to another lecture series on DanswerAI course series by techlatest.net. So far we will cover a lot of things like DanswerAI course introduction, DanswerAI overview, and like various cloud setups and installation on AWS, GCP and Azure. Basically setup of DanswerAI on AWS, GCP and Azure. Next we will also talk about various authentication methods. Then we'll talking about like we had covered a lot of things like Dancer UI and admin side settings, server side settings. Okay, so in this video we'll talking about like how you configuring domain name and SSL in Dancer AI basically. So like moving to the PPT, basically in this lecture we'll talk about setup overview, domain and SSL configuration step by step guide, and there are some key actions. Okay, so we have to start the VM first. So you can also follow this guide. Like first set up the Dancer VM on your choice of cloud platform. For Dancer, AWS, GCP and Azure. That depends on you, like which cloud platform you use. Okay, run the below command. We have to run this command. So I have to start my putty. Okay, so what we have to do? We have to do one thing. Login as Ubuntu. I've already installed my set up my uh, cloud basically on AWS. Okay, so run one command. Uh, this command deployment. Okay, so now next what we have to do, we have to do one thing. After running this command, we have to run ls minus ltr. Okay, so ls minus ltr, then enter. Okay, so you can find all the things here like readme.md, kubernetes, git ignore, data, docker compose file. Okay, so after this, you have to run another command that is cd ssl certs. Okay, and click on there. So, no, first we have to use cd data on this. Okay, now run cd SSL sets. Okay, so you can see we are in the SSL sets directory. Now you have to run pwd command. So you can see out we are in the we are in the SSL directory like Ubuntu setup dancer deployment data SSL sets. Okay. Now what we have to do after after SSL sets directory, you again run ls minus ltr command. Okay, so you can find all the SSL key, SSL CSR, then cert all the keys like SSL certs keys and like other things. Like you can find all the SSL keys here. Then what we have to do, we are like talking about the default setup comes with self-signed SSL certificates for HTTPS communication. If you want to configure your own trusted certificate, then you need to first enable domain name for Dancer and then copy your trusted certificates. For domain, you need the ownership of the domain and configure the domain DNS to point to the public IP of Dancer VM. And this will require a static public IP for the VM. For that reason, we will also add some links for how to make public IP static on AWS, Azure and GCP here, like for AWS, for Azure and for GCP. So that's why I can say you can follow our blog guide also. If you want to check or set up if you want to configure domain name as a SSL in DanswerAI. Okay, so you can follow all this guide because the default setup comes with self-signed certificates for HTTPS communication. Okay, and if you want to configure your own trusted certificate, for example, if you want to configure your own trusted certificate, then you need to first enable domain. Okay, and after enabling domain, then you like for Dancer, then you have to copy your trusted certificates, and for domain you need the ownership of that domain. Like this is one of the method. For domain you need the ownership of the domain and configure the domain DNS to the point public IP of the Dancer VM, and this will require static public IP for the VM. So that's why we will we will provide these links for like how to make public IP static on AWS, GCP and Azure. Okay, after this, you can check the domain and static like domain and static public IP on AWS. Okay, like we are like I am on AWS setup. We are using AWS setup for demonstration. So you can check it out that also like AWS setup. Okay, you can go on your instance. You can find all the things here like public IP, DNS, private IP, DNS, and like instance trace, public IPv4 address. Okay, so you can check it out on AWS here. So like after this, like you can also follow the guide for DNS for GCP, DNS for Azure, like how you like use DNS for Azure, DNS for GCP. Okay, because we are on the AWS VM, so like we follow AWS like AWS steps. Okay, so like you can check it out here like about the DNS and all the things like private IP, public IP for DNS address and these things. And next, you can also check it out for DNS for Azure. Like this blog or this guide show you all the things. Like in this blog, we'll cover all the things like DNS for Azure, GCP, and AWS. Okay, so check it out. This next, what we have to do. If you add your domain name next to the appropriate variable, for example, domain name your domain.com, okay, your personal domain or anything. So what we have to do, we have to open the .env.nginx file. So next thing what we have to do, we are follow this guide. Okay, so yes. Now next we again open our putty. Okay, so okay, so we are going Docker Compose. Okay, so run another command that is nano dot env. Okay, and hit. So you can find all the things like domain name, web domain name, disable telemetry to generative AI model, and other settings also. Okay, so like you can also see the board Slack app token. Okay, so here you can find all the things like we'll cover these things in Dancer UI video also and generative AI settings also with generative AI setting video. Okay, so now what we have to do, we can see web domain equal to HTTPS double colon slash slash localhost. This is our web domain. Okay, so like if add your domain name next to appropriate variable, for example, domain name is domain.com. So what we have to do, we are open our putty again and then do control. You can also find all the commands here, like how you access control X and again run nginx. Okay, and enter. So far, so after running this command, nginx command, so you can find about the again localhost and email name here. Okay, like web domain and other things. So yes, you can hear about the web domain and other things also. You can also check it out this guide like for uh, like set up your domain and other things. Okay, so like there are some additional steps for DNS update if you're using a domain name. Like if you are using domain name, login into your domain register website GoDaddy, then locate the DNS settings or domain management section. Then verify configuration. Like here an example of using GoDaddy, you know how to update DNS record to your public's IP. Okay, note for other domain providers also here. So now here you can find like if you are using the no landscape setup, the below are required. They specify the path with Dancer deployment directory where the certificate key can be found. You can either name your certificate key by files to follow. Okay. Now next, you may need to enter your local machine password prompt, confirm the connection to your VM. Then restart the VM, and for Linux you can do sudo reboot. For Windows you can shut down. So that's all about this video. We'll cover all the things in this video about the configuring a domain and IP. Okay, so yep, that's all about the course. We'll also hear from you like about the feedback of the course, how what is the knowledge you gain from this course. So we also hear from you. Okay, and yeah, thank you.